Vigilante Williamson here with a very simple question. Is marriage just an outdated luxury? First off, thank you anyone who's finding this video from my old channel, which still exists for now, but I am going to be transitioning everything into this channel going forward. And I'm still transitioning as a content creator. What content am I leading with? I know it may be confusing. There's music content, gaming content, and videos like this, streams, all this stuff. But for whatever reason you're here, thank you for being here. And let me get into the topic and talk about what I mean. So what I mean by an outdated luxury is the 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever, maybe earlier, maybe a little later. You used to be able, for what, like a quarter a week, 50 cents, 75 cents, $1, whatever it was, probably less than that, but let's say 50 cents a week. There was a guy that would come by your house and deliver you fresh milk straight off the fucking udder. I mean, he had the cream and everything in it. Now, he might bust a nut in your wife, but you got milk, fresh fucking milk, straight off the udder for like 50 cents a week daily. Nowadays, you pay $5 for a gallon of homogenized, pasteurized, and whatever else raised cow pus that they call milk because it has milk-like content or whatever the hell the FDA has allowed milk to become. And that's just what it is. And it's been like that forever. I mean, maybe not that price, and we'll probably talk a little bit about that. But that's just what it is. The reality has changed. You used to be able to get a milkman to come by your house, give you fresh milk for, a quarter a week, 50 cents a week. Nowadays, you can't do that. You used to be able to go to college for an economical price. It was a couple $100s a semester. Even as late as when I was going to college, I went to a little community college, got a little Pell Grant, whatever, but still, I didn't come out of pocket. And nowadays, to go to college, you need a student loan. You're going to need a student loan, and you'll probably learn more off YouTube than you will in college. You know what I mean? And that's the reality. But you used to be able to get educated, true education, from college. Speaking of education, if you were in high school in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, even the 90s, even up to the 90s, you had something called shop, maybe wood shop, metal shop. As late as when I was going, there was like a tech school. You might have had home economics. You had some practical knowledge that you were getting from your education system. You still had physical education in most places. So you were getting exercise at least. And we see now, as obese as this country's becoming, I'm not helping that myself. We see now how important physical education really is. And some of those life skills really is. We have no one in the trades. We don't have enough people in the trades anymore. But there was a path to the trades from out of high school. And also, that'll kind of transition to the last little point I'm trying to make with this. You used to be able to come out of high school, go to the plant in your local town, and you could earn enough money to take care of your entire family. It might have been a struggle. You might not have lived in a lap of luxury, but you could buy a house. You can, on one income, buy a house, take care of the wife and kids, and send your kids to college. That was a realistic expectation. And you didn't need a college education. As long as you worked hard, you came out of high school, you went to the plant, you worked hard. Even if we know this country has a past. Even if you were a brother, and I say this as someone who was born in Detroit, as a lot of people who were born in Detroit, Cleveland, Chicago can attest, they have grandparents and great-grandparents who came from the South, said, fuck all this racism stuff. I'm going to go up north, get me a job at the plants. You know what I'm saying? And you could live, if you were in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and you were black, you could go to Detroit, go to Cleveland, and go to Chicago, and go to even the cities outside these areas, and come from the South or come from wherever, and make a decent living, where maybe it would have been a little harder back home, but you could do it. And you could do so realistically. Now, there's a lot that has attacked the black community. That's another can of worms for another day. We're going to touch so many cans of worms in this video. I don't have time to focus on every single one. But you used to be able to take care of a family on one income, and that is just not realistic anymore. That was a realistic ask of a man in 1970. That's not now. Not with this inflation sky high. I was just at the grocery store talking to a guy about inflation and fucking Chinese police and the government, all this other stuff. But you know, the cost of living was a huge thing. The cost of living has gone up. And his wife called him while we were talking, and I'm thinking, like, I hate to think about this for the guy, but I'm like, is she sucking someone else's dick? I know that's a stupid thing, but I'm like, this guy's struggling. He's talking about money. You can tell he's having, stress over this money. I'm like, is she sucking somebody else's dick because he doesn't measure up, or she's frustrated? You know what I mean? Hopefully she's not. Hopefully she's a hard working woman. They grind it all together, but that could be a possibility. That can absolutely be a possibility now, man. And so you now have a class of men who don't find the worth in marriage and dating. 40, and I don't know how accurate these statistics are. It's, I hear them just like you do, right? But it's apparently around 40% of men don't even talk to women. 50% of men will go a year or so without having sex. It's like all sorts of crazy statistics. We're not replacing ourselves. And most of the kids that are being born, I want to say 56%. Maybe I'm going too high. And correct me. Any statistic I say that's off, please correct me in the comments. But some percentage, I want to say 56, right over 50% of the kids being born are being born to single mothers. So we're seeing that the death of marriage in front of our eyes. And I can't help but to say, you know what? 50 years ago, it was reasonable for a woman to expect her man to take care of everything. And that's not reasonable. I know you can see those little clips from a lot of these stupid podcasts, the Fresh and Fit, the at whatever or whatever. And you'll have some bimbo OnlyFans who thinks 100,000 is, oh, that's average. And it's like, no, only like the top 10% of men. No, I think the top 10% of people, I shouldn't say men, top 10% of people in America make 100,000. And shit, I mean, if you go for the world, if you make over 30,000, you're in the top 1% of the world. But we know how high the cost of living is. So even if you're making 30,000, when everything costs how it is and prices are jumping up every day, it eats all that money up. So we're in this place where, I mean, what do you think a family needs now? For real. Maybe you can get it done under 400,000. Maybe you can. I say you probably need 125 to 150. And usually that's gonna be between two incomes. That's gonna be between two incomes, just realistically. But we have this case where, I mean, there's different metrics. The OkCupid had the women only respond to 20%. Women only want the top 20% of earners. They only want the top 20% of men. That's just the reality. And now that part of that bottom 40 is just said, fuck it. They've given up. They've given up, or they've just said, fuck it, I'm going to focus on me, whatever. I'm not, whatever way you want to call it. You want to call it the MGTOW thing? Cool. You want to call it the pandemic, or I should say the plandemic, hurt my pocket, so I'm just not even really focusing on it. Cool. Whatever happened. Elden Ring hit, whatever it is. But men are less interested in women, and women are only interested in the top such and such percent, top 20%, top 10%. And while I'm thinking this, I'm thinking, there's a lot been made over. Women have unrealistic expectations. But I think about myself, I'm like, well, if I were to date, I can't date a single mother. No disrespect. I just can't. The risk is already too high for dating as is. I mean, you have crazy laws about, if you say hi to a girl, sexual harassment. Michael Irving is going through some craziness. Now the videos come out to kind of exonerate him, but he's going through some lawsuit situation with the Marriott Hotel. We've seen these videos. You go to the gym, you get caught glancing at a girl who's basically stripping naked, and all of a sudden she's trying to put you on TikTok. We're in a crazy world for even trying to date, right? For even trying to approach women, let alone what could happen. And if you talk about common law marriages, marriage, divorce, all the stuff, the whole family court thing. And I feel like this, single mother, just that amplifies that. There's different ways you can pay child support just for being a long-term just caregiver of a child. It's just all sorts of ways to be trapped. I can't really date a single mother, but I'm in my mid-30s. Is it realistic to ask somebody 35 to not have kids? No, that's not realistic. It's not fair. Even 30, if I date a little down, 30, late 20s, I mean, most women are going to have kids by then. Especially now, right? So it's not realistic. It's not a fair ask. It's not a fair ask, let alone me say, okay, you don't have kids and have sense. It seemed like it was a reasonable ask. But, you got to face the reality of social media. Women are different. Men are different. People are different because of the social media. There's always someone else who can slide the DMs. And that's given a lot of women a false sense of value, a false sense of, sexual market value, of intrinsic value. How common is this story now? Where the woman, she divorces her man on the potential. You know what? I'm 28, I'm 29, I'm 31. I had my 2 kids. I want to go back out in the dating market while I still got it. There's so many guys in my DMs. I'm just going to divorce and I'll find someone better. Some can actually do it, by the way. As much as a lot of the manosphere doesn't want to admit that, I've seen women pull off crazy things. But that's again, another can of worms for another day. But a lot of times they don't pull it off, right? So you got women who are getting divorced because they think they can do better. And then you have men who don't want to be with these women anymore. And so I'm just looking at maybe only the top 20% are going to get married. Maybe only the top 10 to 20% of men can afford marriage for real, and afford to take care of everyone. Take care of the wife, take care of the kids. Maybe, older members of the family if need be. And I get, somebody's probably screaming, Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates or Dr. Dre or whatever it is. You're right. You're absolutely right. So maybe, divorce isn't even for them. But I'm just saying, we are a society of people who've become accustomed to divorce. We are a society of people who have become accustomed to marriage, who have just taken it for granted as a thing. For years, we took college for granted. You're going to go to high school, you're going to go to college, get a good job, so to speak. We saw that wasn't real. That's still not real. All you did is go learn a bunch of skills to be a slave for the rest of your life, go be in debt for the rest of your life, and go get underpaid to make someone else rich. Or at least get them into the case where they can get a lot of credit and milk the financial system. Another can of worms for another day. Like I said, we're touching a bunch of different cans of worms as we go on. But college is no longer a realistic thing to expect to give you, the job you want. It can be in some cases if you're a doctor, lawyer, etc., something that needs a college degree and needs the specific education from a college. But a lot of people probably should be going into the trades. A lot of people probably should be, doing something else other than that. But we standardize college. Everyone goes to college. Are we still, dealing with that with marriage where we're just, everyone go get married? And it's like, well, it just doesn't work for the bottom 80% of us, men and women. It's just not realistic. It's not realistic because it is a risk for both parties. I mean, the risk for men, I expressed some, and I could talk, all day about all the risk, right? The family court, you Google the dangers and deaths of the family court and you'll find it, but there's risk for women. There's risk for women. There's abusive guys. You know what I'm saying? There's some really abusive, fucked up guys out there. Let's not kid ourselves. There's risk that you can spend years in that sort of situation. There's guys who don't really, provide much, who are lazy, unambitious. There are women who are taking care of loser guys. Some of that by their own choice, volition. Another can of worms. I know we're touching them and just going by them and that's another can of worms. But there's still risk for women, is my point. There's still risk for women. There's still risk for men. And it's just like, you know what? You're not in the top 10 to 20%. You really can't even begin to operate as far as marriage goes. You really can't. I mean, at least that's my thinking. I'm asking that, though. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? If you're married, let me know. Happily married, let me know. Because from where I stand, man, I don't think marriage is a logical proposition for the modern person. Not just the modern man, but the modern person. It used to be. You used to get the milkman. You used to be able to take care of everything on one salary. You used to be able to send your kids to college on that same salary. You used to go to school and learn skills. These just aren't the cases. It's not the case anymore. It's not the reality we live in. You used to have a dollar menu at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Shit. McDonald's used to be made out of actual beef. Well, I don't know if that was ever true. But, I mean, we don't live in the same world we once did. We don't live in that same world. And I think marriage is a casualty. You let me know. What do you think? Is marriage outdated luxury of a past life that's no longer here? Or is it just something that we're just working through it? We just have to adapt it in this new age, and it's going to be something different going forward. You tell me. Like, share, all that good stuff. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.